Today, I'm going to share with you what I have learned throughout these 30 years in which I have been teaching and researching about psi phenomena, out-of-body experience, psychic awareness, paranormal phenomena, non-ordinary phenomena. This is all different angles of the very same process. Our capacity to sense and to manifest ourselves into a reality that is beyond the regular physical world. But what are the boundaries of how much we know and what we don't know? How developed we are? So I want to discuss this with you because what I have seen is that the way you started developing your abilities, the techniques you first used, will play a big role into how much you can develop, how you will interpret your own sensations, and how much you'll be able to master your own energy. I also want to give you some tips on how you can recognize your own sensitivity and go from the point where you are ahead. So please stay with me. Let's see it. Hello, welcome to this channel. I am Nancitrivellatoenglish, a researcher and instructor with the International Academy of Consciousness. This video is very special, I think, because we are going to discuss how we can better understand our own psychic sensitivity, spiritual understanding, and grow from the point where we are right now. Because many times we are looking for techniques, but we do not know exactly what is missing in our abilities. And I see a big problem, which is most of the different areas or teachings or books, many of them which I enjoy very much, but most of them are prepared to teach people who don't sense anything. So it's everything based on get more perception, be more open, and give you ready answers that many times they don't work because what you sense in terms of your energy is different than what I sense in terms of my energy. So it's very common for me to meet someone who is reporting, for example, a sensation they have or what they normally experience when they are meditating or going to bed or trying an out-of-body experience. And I noticed that their own interpretation of what could be a problem, there's something to be worked on, and what is absolutely natural, and especially, what is it that they are good at, and what is it that they need to put more effort into practicing. And it's not the same process for everyone. I need that you understand that sometimes you could be already a person who picks some of this reality that is beyond the physical world. And not necessarily you have a clairvoyance that you see a spirit and you can tell his story or her story, or you are going to be like a medium channeling, or you have a full out-of-body experience in which you sense yourself getting out of the body completely. This also can happen. But sometimes you may have this perception in ways that are natural to you, but are not so obvious, tangible as those I'm talking about. Because if we talk about clairvoyance, you are perceiving someone who passed away, and then you can communicate, and then you get a detail, and then you can confirm. Of course, this is great. But what about when you sense a presence and that only gives you a different feeling inside of yourself? The dangers of doing techniques that are aimed at making you more in contact with the non-physical reality, which is great, but only helping you to be more in contact, to be more lucid of the non-physical reality, to have greater energy sensitivity without helping you see the effect that has on you. For example, to which level your self-defense is. Can you apply a technique that you can trust, no matter where you are, no matter what sort of situation you are in, you can apply that? Can you recognize when you are, for example, just relaxed, maybe doing a meditation, maybe trying an out-of-body experience, but at the moment that you start your technique, There is some sort of energy that approaches you that is not that positive or takes advantage of you, and then start mixing with your thoughts or messing with your thoughts, better saying, and little by little you get more in rapport with those energy or presences than you were before doing the technique. The only thing that I want to call your attention to is that you have to feel balanced. Balanced is not perfect, but is balanced at your best. You cannot do a technique if it's to open your third eye or if it's to unblock your chakras, whatever. If that's not bringing you to your best balanced condition, and balance doesn't mean naively happy or superficially okay, means inside of you, balance. Peace. You know, when we get that sensation, I'm sure if you are watching this video, you probably have already sensed that a few times with some techniques, which we do. So when you do an exercise, you have to feel that. If you don't, then you will analyze why. The why is super important. Some things we can fix quickly, other things it may take a while. It depends. But this is super important because I know people that they have some sensations that it's like not necessarily negative, because when it's negative, it's a huge attack, a bad energy. We recognize. But what if what we experience is more like a languished type of energy that just drag us into a melancholy for no reason, into a state in which we cannot concentrate? You have to be able to concentrate. Into a state in which you cannot feel completely in peace with yourself alone. So then that is something that you have to pay attention to. I will quickly illustrate this with an experience of mine, which I share in my book. I was around 17 years old, maybe something like that. And while I was into looking for information and studying more to understand my energy, sensations on my chakra, and I found a group that was a very nice group. I was very lucky because they had a lot of good ethical principles in their work. Not all groups do. They also have, and I know now with all of my experience, good energy support, like mentors, non-physical consciousnesses, spirits that were supporting their work. However, they were teaching a technique to open the chakras. That's the way they would say. But I got an old cassette in which I bought to do some sort of meditation with energy work, all mixed into the same process. I remember I would wait until Saturday when I could have a morning for myself because I worked throughout the whole day, and then I would go to university in the evening. I would put my cassette and start doing the exercise. Oh, concentrate in one chakra, and then you think of a sound, you think of a color. I don't remember exactly. Unfortunately, I threw away the tape. But I know exactly what happened to my energy. So I would sense that, but I would sense very slightly. It was not like, wow, what with fireworks or something. No, it was just gently, maybe getting subtler, focusing in one area, a little buzz here and maybe a little different sensation there. But it was so marginal, the sensation, that I could not sense in my physical body. And I was not trained to observe the difference into a physical sensation and an energy sensation and how that would affect us. So I would do that, and at the end of the exercise, I was drained. I would be like, I had no strength, no energy, no courage to move on with life. It was like, my day would be dull, which was not my normal. I had my challenges. I would be tired, but not in that way inside, when you cannot bring the spark from within. So it was not me. Okay, I didn't think anything of it. Following Saturday, I do the exercise again, and there I go. Start well. I did a little bit faster, was easier for me, and I wouldn't say I sensed energy, but definitely something would happen. I just could not determine. And again, I would observe that later on the day, I was like, drained. So it was tough, and I would have to bring myself into that condition, and I did for a third time. Was the same thing. I am very grateful for some of my characteristics because I am open to try, but also able to see when something is not working, it doesn't conform to me, what I need, what I was expecting. It's not based on the challenge. It's based on other elements that nowadays I know very well what they are. The type of energy that evoke and the type of non-physical presences, spirits, that specific exercise allows to come closer. Today, I understand. At that time, I couldn't put that into words. It was too abstract. I was not trained to interpret that type of sensation. So what happened there? I was already super sensitive. I would have moments that I would wake up during the night because something would wake me up. Something meaning a presence, an entity. I would have many types of fears and reactions, and I shared that in one of my videos, because I would perceive in that house, not in other places that I have lived in, I would sense some energies that were antagonist because of the region where we were living, and those energies would come and affect me. Had that same exercise been done by perhaps a colleague of mine, perhaps some relative who were not that sensitive, maybe they wouldn't sense so much the strange, antagonistic, draining energies that would come to them. But I doubt anyone could do the exercise with as much concentration and openness and go into the contact with energy as I did without having the same effect. My point here is nothing wrong with what they taught, but they never taught me how to recognize my energy sensations, how to cleanse my room and create some sort of force field, bioenergy force field, so that some presences wouldn't come in. They didn't teach me how to prepare for that type of exercise, prepare energetically. I'm not talking physically, energetically, in terms of my energy body. They didn't teach me how to do self-defense. They didn't teach me what procedure to use to cleanse myself afterwards. So my point here is that most people, when they teach energy techniques, it's more or less like that. And I think it's so important that you give yourself a moment to think what you would sense when you were a child, for example, or what happens to you that you know or you consider that it may be something, not just the physical sense, it may be something else. Observe that, and you have to grow from that point on. Value what you already experience. Recognize what should be adjusted, what is too much, or what is deficient should be built up, and work on that. A safe technique that I always recommend, it's more than a technique, it's a full method with many steps, is what I call the VELO technique. VELO is an acronym for Voluntary Energetic Longitudinal Oscillation. If you are familiar with my teachings and videos, you have already heard me talking about VELO. If you are not, you will find videos about this here in the channel. Why am I saying about VELO? Because that is a safe technique in a way that the more you grow your sensitivity, the more you grow your self-defense. Because it's a process that goes hand in hand with that method. But you don't have to do VELO. Whichever method you trust, whichever technique you already do, but observe what's going on. Give yourself a chance to analyze by yourself. So the bottom line here is, how much do you already sense and experience? How much you realize it, you can recognize, and how well you can interpret? And what is the next step for you? Thank you very much. Enjoy your experiences, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Thanks.